Hey y'all, so I already did the video, but I'm finna explain a little bit. I'm tickled. I'm trying to speed this up because it's gonna be long. But the reason why I'm doing this right here because I was tickled on the inside because like I don't have to explain nothing to God. Like if I say something, it's not gonna be taken out of context. But when you deal with people in the fall of man, everything is going to be perverted and taken out of context. So no matter what I say, how I say, somebody gonna take it, twist it, and make it mean something it don't mean. So in my video, I was just speaking on the men and the attack on the men, and I was going back into the women being open and exposed. This is what I was talking about in this video, in the video. So. And I also was just speaking on my dreams during the week. So I guess this video, I was going to cut it off, let y'all see that, then go to the back end. But I guess I just combine this and then just throw that video on the back end. Okay. So when I was speaking on this, like vulnerability, like this weak place within the family, because I was like, the man is under attack, and when the man under attack, the next person that's in line is the woman, and she just open and exposed because she don't have that covering over her. So what God did, he took me to Genesis. That Genesis, when they ate the fruit, you know how I always say, I look at it as a blessing and a curse. When God was like, this should be your husband, and your desire should be to your husband. You know, I said I could see that as a blessing and curse because it depends on who is the head of the man. I was like, if Jesus is the head of the man, that's a good thing. I said, but if that man is not being led by God, and you are under the authority, the covering of this man, it's going to be bad. You know, that's what I said. From just me to looking, seeing what's going on. So, in my video, I kept saying, what a men it? What a men it? Yeah, I was going off. Because I can. So I was talking about the men. And so when I was talking about the men and them not having no covering, it take me back to the Garden of Eden. And when you got Satan, I'm just finna speak it. So when you got Satan, who has fallen, he's in a fallen state. You got Adam, you got Eve in heaven, just kicking it. And Satan, he was not going to approach Adam. Like, it was no way Satan was going to approach Adam it was no way he could do it. Like, the authority that Adam had, Adam knew his authority, and it's no way Satan could have came directly to Adam the same way he came to Eve, to deceive Eve. And so, when you go back to the Garden of Eden, and he tempted, and they fell to the temptations. When you look at Eve, me, I'm like, where was her covering it? Like, where was Adam at? Like, how was Satan able to even get to Eve? Like, what is Adam doing this whole time to leave Eve vulnerable and open for Satan to get to her? That's what's going through my head. And so, when I look, I see this vulnerability because Adam is nowhere. You got the serpent. He didn't trick Eve. And then at this point, God, even Satan knew, because when you look at my video, you're going to see me say this. Satan knows the value of a woman. He knows the power and position that a woman holds. And so what Satan did, he was like, I'm just going to use Eve. I'm going to get Eve to give up, to come and I'm going to use Eve as a weapon toward Adam. See, God, and the thing is, Satan, he just pervert everything. So even though Eve was supposed to be a helper for him, when Satan got a hold of Eve and manipulated Eve, she was in a position where now she's finna twist it and she's finna pervert Adam, so to speak. So even though she's supposed to be there as a helper to get him to disobey God, she used her position of authority to get Adam to disobey God, basically, in so many words. Eve was deceived to eat the fruit. But Adam, he was just influenced to eat the fruit. Like, he was not deceived. It was just influence that caused him to eat the fruit. And so when you look at Satan and how he operates, why God always got me talking about Satan and how he operates in his mind? Why God always have me speaking on this? But when you deal with Satan, he's going to come two ways. He's going to use deception, or he's going to use influence. Those are the only two ways he's going to approach and come at you or do anything that he do. Those are the only two ways. When you look at back in Genesis, you're going to see that Eve was the seed. He tricked Eve. But you see, Adam, he was just strictly influenced. Here, eat this fruit. And then he like, okay. So that's the way Satan come, y'all. Have y'all figured it out yet? God is dropping the context clues if you read the word, which I got to read myself. But Satan gonna only come two ways. He either gonna trick you into doing something, or he's going to influence you to do something. The same way he did Adam and Eve. And so, when I go and I look and I see them in the Garden of Eden, and I see that, you know, Eve is just wide open. Wide open. Where's Adam at? How is Eve able to even be tempted or be tricked or be deceived by Satan? Do Satan got Adam occupied somewhere? Like, where is he? Because if you look at my video, I talk about how the men be so occupied. Like, what's going on? So, he get to Eve. And he know that Eve is the only thing that can get to Adam. Like, he know this. Satan is very strategic, y'all. So, Satan know Eve is going to be the one to get Adam to go against God. And his contract and what his covenant with God is going to come through Eve. And so, he used Eve to get Adam to break his covenant with God. And so, that's how all that went. So, that's when I was speaking on all this that y'all don't know about because y'all ain't looked at it yet. I'm breaking it down now. So, maybe when you see that and you rewind your brain, you'll see, oh, this is what she's talking about. I'm already explaining now. So, when you see what I'm talking about, you'll see the revelation is given before I'm even speaking it. Let me stop. Okay, so when I look and I see that Eve is just open, like she's just open in heaven, or she's in the Garden of Eden, she just wide open. Satan, he end up coming to her because Satan know he can't go directly to Adam. He know this, so he decide, okay, I'm gonna go to Eve, and Eve is going to be the one I use to. Eve is the only one that can influence Adam to go against God. Like, it's going to be Eve. Like, nothing else is going to get him to do this. Like, nothing else is going to get him to break this covenant. The only thing going to get him to break his covenant is the influence of Eve. Satan know this. So that's what he used to get Adam to give up his authority and his dominion over everything God created. Okay, so when God see all this, God say to Eve, your desire should be to your husband and he should rule over you. You know, that's what he said. When they did everything they did, when he was sending down his judgment, he cursed Satan, he cursed earth. He didn't curse Eve, he didn't curse Adam. But it was consequences that came with it. So when he said your desire should be to your husband and he should rule over you, which I'm tickled that I know this verse by heart. I said so much. Always, you know, I told you it's a variable. Depending on who leading him, it's going to determine how she going to be led. Is you led by God or you led by Satan, you men? Because then that's going to have a trickle-down effect on the woman that you're supposed to lead. And so, when I look at this, and I tell you I see this opening, God, too, saw this opening with Adam and Eve. And he saw that Eve didn't have that covering. She did not have that covering. And so, before this point, they were just roaming, doing what they wanted to do. But now you got Satan, who's in this fallen state. And so now Satan is roaming around. And so now that Satan is roaming around, it's going to have to be some kind of covering over mankind, so to speak. So even though Adam and Eve is together, God got a covenant established with Adam, but it's not a covenant established with Eve. Like, it's not a covering established with Eve at this point. So Satan, he uses this as a way to, okay, let me get to Eve. And then he go in, he manipulate Eve. And then at this point, she just influences Adam, which Satan knew this. Satan know what he doing out here. So that's what Satan do. So when God come into the scene and he placing his judgment on the situation, he see that Eve do not have a covering. So he's saying that your desire should be to your husband and he should rule over you. Like, at this point is giving Eve a covering. Like she's going to need some kind of protection out here. So when he do this and he hand down what he's handed down, at this point Eve received a covering. Eve did not have a covering before then. She did not have a covering before then. And Adam, his relationship with God, that covenant with God and Adam, it's no way Satan could have intercepted it, because God and Adam, they got direct contact with each other. So Satan, he can't break that contact. But what he can do is find the influence of Adam, which was Eve, and use that as a way to get into the equation. And that's what he did. And so when, say, God is handing down all of this judgment, all of this what's going on, and he say your desire should be to your husband and he should rule over you, it's because he see that the women have no covering. So he's trying to send a covering through the husband, but the only way that this order will even be work is that man have to put God first. So if that man is following Jesus and putting him first, then you can fall up under your husband, and then like everything will be in order. But if that man who is the head is out of order, out of line, you is going to be out of order, out of line. And everything trickle down behind you is going to be out of order, out of line. Like it's an order and a structure that God got going on. And it's a reason for this structure. Now, what God realized is it's just a void in all this. Like it's just at this point, because we in a fallen state, Jesus is here to fill the void. So a lot of times, even with the women, if you don't have that husband as your covering, Jesus is your covering until you get married. When you get married, your husband becomes your covering. So pick wisely. Your husband will be your covering, so pick wisely out here. And I'm talking about spiritual covering too, not just physical, your spiritual covering. So you got a covering of a man, but he can't even pray. But according to God now, in this structure, in this order of what's going on, that's your covering. So you're going to have to deal with it. You're going to have to deal with it. Pick wisely out here. That's why I stress pick wisely. So yeah, so this is what the revelation that God is giving me dealing with this, so to speak. And like I said, he'll come and just explain and break everything down. And if he correct me, then I just do, okay, y'all, this, that. But it's just going through the motion of what's going on. And then when I look, I see this, I'm like, ooh, Eve is open. She's very vulnerable for attack because the man is not around. The head is not there. So what is, let me stop. Let me stop right now, because I'm going to get too deep with this. I ain't trying to. Okay, so then God, he's trying to, okay, they in a fallen state. She's going to need some kind of covering. She got to have some kind of covering. So he create the covering through the husband, through the marriage. Okay, when you get married, your husband, your desire should be to your husband. He should rule over you. That's if it's not, you not in a perverted, tainted marriage, y'all. This is God speaking from a pure and perfect marriage. This is not a defiled marriage that God is speaking from. So, if everything the way it's supposed to go, yeah, it's good. But the reality is that ain't how it's gonna go. That's the reality. We got free will. So now it's a reality of this might not be the outcome. We might not be robots and be like, yeah, and everybody get to heaven because we got free will now. And so our free will may intercept what God trying to do for us out here. And the road we supposed to be on. Because now we got to choose. And through our free will, just like they chose the fruit, we got to choose our husband. So pick wisely out here. Pick wisely out here. Okay, God, I'm through with this. I kept saying, where is this going? My other video, I kept saying, God, where is this going? So now he taking me to Adam and Eve. She needed a covering. So that's the reason why he put that in motion with your husband shall be to your wife, and you should follow her. This not to be it's not dealing with like this hierarchy of I'm better than you. It's just she need this covering. And man is supposed to provide and protect according to the Bible. And I'm old fashioned. I just follow the rules of the Bible. So, and that's what he got Adam in a position to do. Okay, now you got to protect. Now you got to protect, because when they was in the Garden of Eden, he was just had dominion over everything, doing this and that. But when it came down to Eve, it wasn't no protection there. But then when he speak and say, okay, your desire should be to your husband, he should rule over you. Now you got a form of protection over you, and now you got a covering over you as a woman, you know, in the spiritual, physical too. So, yeah, because I'm trying to go back to my other video, but I don't even remember everything I said. All I know is I was just speaking about the men and how the men, they're out of alignment of the order of what God got going on, and it's really just creating this chaos. And I really put a lot of emphasis on the men, but the women is equally affected. And the end result of this domino effect, Satan can get the kids. That's the end result. So you got the man, God, I told you, Satan got them preoccupied. Like, they preoccupied with other women, they preoccupied with other men, they preoccupied with drugs, they preoccupied with all the sins of the flesh. They just preoccupied. They so busy, they women is open and vulnerable. So with the women being open and vulnerable, now Satan can come in and deceive the women. He's going to deceive the women. The men are just influenced, like they just doing whatever. But the women, they're being tricked and deceived. And so in this process of these women being tricked and deceived, you know, they being tricked into drugs, tricked into all this stuff going on. And in the process of them being tricked and deceived in a lot of stuff that's going on, men be tricked and deceived too, but the women is tricked and deceived. I'm sticking with the women's. We is tricked and deceived down here. So in this process of, you know, the women's being tricked into doing drugs, getting hooked on drugs, all this stuff that's going on, it just create a domino effect, and the end result is Satan wants the kids. So if the daddy and the man is preoccupied with whatever going on in the world, and the woman, she got other stuff going on, and she dealing with a lot of stuff because the order of what it's supposed to be, everything is out of order. So she out of order with what she supposed to be doing. Then it trickle down to she can't do what she need to do with the kids. So now Satan can get the kids. Now the kids is accessible because the whole house is just wide open. Like, you got the whole order of what you got going on. The man, he ain't there. The head ain't there. She out somewhere. Stressed out, probably doing drugs, like all this. And then it trickle down to, you got these kids. And these kids ain't got no protection. Because where the mama is, where the dad is. So it forced the kids to be in a role. And force them to grow up faster than what they need to, and they might not be taking in all the knowledge they need to develop because they have to just catch on and just go with the flow of what's going on out here. Okay, y'all, I'm through with this. Because it could go on. It's a lot. But you see what I'm saying? So in my other video, I'm speaking on men, but the women equally attack and have detrimental effects. Because I feel like when you a woman, and say if Satan gets you on drugs, sprung out on drugs, those drugs go to the baby. They say when men do drugs and a woman pregnant, their DNA, it goes to the baby too. So it's not just the woman, but the women, we carry it because you can see it. So you pregnant, you walking around and you doing drugs, they're going straight to your baby. All they're going straight to your baby. And so it just like it's an attack on the kids at this point. And so, yeah. So we just need to pray for the families, don't we? So the end result of this whole video is maybe we need to put in some prayer. I said maybe. We need to pray for families, don't we? We need to pray for families. And it got to be in the order that God said. Because God said it and God knows best. But till then, Jesus filled those voids. Like, he's there to fill the voids. He understands all the voids within the family. And he there to fill every single void. That's why he died on the cross. He died on the cross to take on our sins. But he also there to fill every single void of everything going on in everybody's life. If you fully embrace them. So, I'm finna let y'all go. But I'm just putting this out there because I was speaking. I was talking about the men. But what people don't know, and I even was talking about the men that's lusting after other men. But the thing is, I'm not judgmental. I'm not sitting here looking at one sin is better than the other. We all is pushing through, trying to make it to the next level. And actually, that's what I attract. That's what I attract, y'all. So y'all might be looking at me like, oh, she's here. No, because that's who gonna come my way. The men that's attracted to other men and lust after other men, that's what I attract right there. That's what come to me. So, I mean, attract in a good way. Like, and so, yeah. So I say all that because I said all that other stuff in the other video, and people's perception of me might be like I'm judgmental toward, men that, that are attracted to other men, which it's just a demon of lust, and it's just a void that cannot be fulfilled. It's nothing you can do to fill that void. Once that demon of lust come upon you, you're going to just go darker and darker, deeper and deeper. It's nothing that's going to fill that desire of that spirit and that demon of lust that's on you. Like, it's nothing. Like, it don't matter how many men you sleep with, how many women you sleep with, you probably even get perverted where it starts shifting to other things. It's nothing you can do to feed that demon. Like, it's nothing you can do with that demon that's gonna be satisfied. It's just gonna take you and keep taking you down, darker and darker and darker, down into the void, to the darkness. Like, it's nothing that's gonna get you out of it but Jesus. That is the light. So when I was speaking on it, people might take it out of context, but actually, I don't have nothing against people that's attracted to each other, stuff like that. Like, I really don't. And actually, that's what be drawn to me. Like, that's what come my way. Like, all that come my way in a good way. I'm not judgmental. People might look at me like I'm judgmental because I always be like, God, but nah, I don't judge nobody and what they got going on and they struggles with what they got to deal with. So that's all I got to say. I'm finna end this video, but real quick, it was this lady. Because this was way before anything. And a while back, this lady, she was just talking to me. And she was like, you going to help a lot of people. This is what she told me. This lady didn't know me like that. But she was like, you going to start out helping kids. She like, I see a lot of kids. You going to help a lot of kids. She said, but then you going to shift. And she said, you going to start helping women. She said, a lot of women going to start coming to you. She said, after you start helping kids, she like, a lot of women just going to be drawn to you and you're going to be helping these women. She said, but eventually, men is going to be reaching out to you. And men is going to be needing help and they going to be coming to you. She like, and you going to be just, she like, you going to start out with kids, though. And she like, as you start out with kids, women is going to start being drawn to you. And you're going to start opening yourself up to help them. And then she said, but the men, she like, they even gonna be coming to you. This is what the revelation she was giving me a while back. So yeah, I'm just putting it in the air. So if you look at me and you think I got a negative connotation toward men, it's not everybody. We all know it's not everybody, y'all. Because all of them don't fit in that category, but it's men that fit in the category. So yeah, y'all. So it's not all men. I don't have a hate toward nobody that God created. God created life. It's God's creation. Everybody is God's creation. Now the sin and the demon, like the Jezebels and all that, oh no, get out my face. Now, if you got a spirit on you, it better not surface in my face. I don't want to see no spirits, no demon of love, nothing better not surface in my presence. Now the demon on you, the spirit, now I feel a certain way about that. But you as a person, oh no. I don't have no hate towards you as a person. Now you feel like in order for me to receive you, I got to receive your sin. Now that's a problem. Because the two is not interdimensional and intertwined within each other. It needs to be separated. So when you deal with me, you as a person deal with me. Your demons, I'm not dealing with no demons. I'm not doing it. So y'all enjoy y'all day. Be safe. Hey, how y'all doing? Y'all good? Today is Friday. I know y'all. I know. I don't really have too much to say. Just checking in. Saturday, Sabbath, that's tomorrow. I'm laughing. I'm like, maybe God will give me something to say for Saturday, Sabbath. I did see something today, y'all. I'm just gonna speak on little things here and there, but not too much. Cause I gotta put everything into the existence. I gotta speak everything, y'all. I got to. So with me, and what's going on, I'm just smile talking. That's it. So, I told y'all I had a dream. Early this week, and the same time I had this dream, the same week I had this dream, my daddy was in the dream too. God been bringing my daddy around way more. Cause see, my daddy, he came to me a while back. I did a video and I said, my daddy said God mad at the United States. This is what my dad is telling me in the dream. He was like, God is mad at the United States. And so when my daddy told me this dream about God being mad at the United States, I really wasn't just seeing him too often. Like, I wasn't just seeing him. But now, God allowed him to pop back up in my dreams. So, it's getting close to that time. It's getting close to that time of maybe tribulation, trouble. Because my daddy, like, I feel like with God, he ain't going to come, everything God. I feel like when it comes to God, everything important. But if I see my daddy, the radar going off. Like, to see my daddy, I feel like in my visions, when it comes to my visions, I see God and I got a level of, something serious. But when I see my daddy, seeing my dad in the vision, the level is higher than actually seeing any and everything God showed me. So, my daddy, he's been visible in these dreams. And he's coming way more often. So I'm like, oh, another one. So I had a dream, and in real life, y'all, my dad, I don't eat no pork. I don't eat no red meat, no ground beef, and trying to see what all I don't eat. I don't eat no pork. I don't eat no red meat, and I don't eat no ground beef. That's my diet. And I've been like this forever. So, the only thing I eat is turkey, chicken, fish. And when I say fish, like seafood, stuff like that. So, I eat like anything dealing with that. But like the red meat, the pork, and the ground beef, I don't eat none of that. And so that's my diet. So I try to just, when I go out, I just try to eat around what I can eat versus what I can't. So, and my kids, everybody kind of know this is mama diet. And I realized that when you do something, your kids is going to mimic it. Like, they're going to get to the point, even though my kids not on the restrictions I'm on. I was going, my kids, they love my meatballs. So I was just going to make them some meatballs. And then they was just like, well, mama, we going to have to, they want me to like, they want me to cook where I can eat it too. And they know I don't eat ground beef, but I make them meatballs, stuff like that. And so they won't even like, they be like, my grown kids, they be like, well, mama, we're going to have to find an alternative because I want you to enjoy the meatballs too. And, that's how they be. But they're not on the restrictions I'm on. But your kids, when you on a certain diet, I see how God have you as the head over your kids. And you are kind of like got the authority even when it comes to the diet of your kids, especially if they're underage. Because when you deal with God, you're dealing with order, you're dealing with authority. And and you got to understand this. See, I think in this spirit, in this realm, we don't have no respect for authority. Like, everybody just buck the system, do what they want to do, talk how they want to talk to who they want to talk to. Everybody think they got grounds to say this. But in the spiritual, and you dealing with God, it's a certain order. And that's just what it is. And you can't go up against the order. In this realm, you feel like you got so much power. You feel like you got so much power in this realm to go up against everybody, however you feel like you want to do. But when you get in the spiritual and you dealing with God, Jesus, the Holy Spirit, you throw that out the window. You throw that out the window. So you better hope God don't strike you down. Yeah. So, it's just a certain authority. And this authority that God got, this covering that he got, he's very strict with this covering. It's to the point where even Satan understands the covering in this certain order that God got. That's why he's target certain positions that people hold and carry, because he know the authority that they hold and the power that they hold. Like, for instance, the man being the head. So if the man is the head and Satan, he's going to target the man. Like, he just gonna do that because that's the covering over the entire family. So he targets the man because he knows the authority that that man got over the whole household. And it even take me back to Genesis. Yeah, it even take me back to Genesis, y'all, when they were talking about the angels was mixing with these women. Because when you look at angels mixing with these women, and these women supposed to be like assigned to man by God, like God assigned women for men to be helpers and help men on this journey of life. But the angels saw the women as beautiful and saw them as, ooh, they could be carriers of our seed. So the angels end up making having kids, but you can only imagine the conflict that it would cause if you want they women. The conflict that it would cause with a man, because you want they women is assigned by God for man. But then you see these women and you see how you can benefit from these women, which means you want to birth your seed into the world, and everybody know God created woman to do that. So even you, the angels, looking like, ooh, the seed of a woman, I can bring my child, I can have my own offspring, and you birthed it into the world through a woman. And the men, it had to be some kind of conflict. There's no way you're going to take the men and women and there's not no conflict with it. Like, it's no way possible. So when I look at Genesis, it was a conflict with these men and these angels. And maybe Satan got these men in mind to make them lust after each other. So you got man lusting after man. So y'all so busy lusting after each other. Y'all women open prey. Your women ain't got no protection. Y'all too busy. Satan got in y'all mind the men chasing each other. And you got your women wide open. No protection, no nothing. And so now it make it available for these angels to jump in and take these women. The women that you supposed to be protecting. The women that you are assigned to protect out here. The spirit, demon, or lust, whatever you want to call it, got you chasing other men and got you looking at everything but the women God assigned to you. And that's going on now. Women just wide open. But if you deal with the spiritual, everybody see the value of a woman but the man. Everybody see the seed of this woman as the most valuable thing ever but a man. Like, even the angels recognize, even Satan recognized this. He like, I need a woman womb. They even trying to create, like, fake imitation wombs to carry kids. Like, everybody trying to birth, they know birth got to come through the woman. They know this. And so they know the value of this. And everybody just trying to figure out a way to have access to this valuable element that a woman possesses. Like, that's what they trying to do. So, I mean, when I look back and I see this, I be tickled. I'm like, dang, God created woman for man. The man don't even realize the value of a woman. You got other entities that God created that know the value of a woman even before man. And God created man for woman. So man bash woman, leave them open. And then you make them available for any and everything else, which they won't. They are obsessed with women. They is obsessed. Yeah. So Satan getting these men mind and have them desiring each other. He like, okay, I just distract the man. They got a spirit of lust on them. Let them have each other. And we finna take these women out here. I think that's what was going on in Genesis. I think Satan got in the men mind. Because there's no way that the angels gonna have easy access to your women unless you distracted with something else. Like, why? If it wasn't no, like, war, with you going up, you man going up against these angels for taking your women, you were distracted. And what other way is Satan gonna distract you other than let's make them lust after each other? Let's make them do this. Let's distract them with that. Let's distract them with drugs. Let's distract them. Like, everything just distracting you from, and it's leaving your women, which is your family, wide open at that point. So that's why I think that's what's going on now, that was going on back then. So. And God, where I probably going with this? So, because I had drifted off, y'all, and God put me on this right here. Like, he put me on this. I wasn't even talk about this. Let me go back to my dad. But it baffles me that you got women and everybody, every entity see the value of a woman but the man that God created to be with the woman. And then you got them open, and you got all these other entities that benefiting off of women and know how to benefit off of women but the men. All of them. And guess what? In exchange for that, like even during the Nephilim and during that time, the angels started revealing all these secrets and giving these women all this knowledge and in exchange. But the angels, they was mesmerized. They wanted families. So they were like, okay, we need to hook up with the women. And then Satan was like, okay, cool. I'm finna make these men chase each other. And then y'all gonna take them women. And that's what it was. And that's not true. Because how else you gonna get them? How else you gonna get the women? Unless the man is preoccupied with something else. That's the only way you gonna get them. Until God tell me differently, this is my truth. I really do feel like that. And even though I'm saying I feel like that, it's God in me. Like, yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Like, even when you look, like, even when I showed that little video and it was showing all the men down in New Orleans, like, you got all the men lusting at the men. Where y'all women at? Where the women at? They open and available. No protection, no nothing. So it's easy to jump into that and intercept and hijack that woman and that family. Because she don't have that protection. Now, through Christ is our protection because the order is messed up. So Christ become the protection of women. So Christ, he have to play that role of what a man would play because the man is not available. So now Christ got to step in and be there and fill that void that's not there. So that's just what got to go on. So, okay, God. So I had a dream. And this dream, because I was speaking on my regular diet, which is no chicken, well, no pork, no red meat, no ground beef. If I do chicken, it's going to be white meat. I don't do dark meat. So I might do a leg, because sometimes legs, it just depends on how fatty and brown it look. If it look like it's too close to the thigh, I ain't gonna eat it. if the leg look like it been too close to that thigh, I don't want it. But sometimes the leg, it can kind of actually fit as a wing. So that's why I even realized. So in the dream, I'm at this place, and it's kind of dark in this place. And I noticed before I even was like getting a meal, and before I was even doing all that, it was this bread. Like, I noticed this bread. So you know how you order your food and it be like behind like a glass? I noticed that this bread was in a glass basket. And this bread was bread that you bake. Like, it wasn't like no sliced bread. Like, this bread was like homemade type bread that you bake. So I noticed this bread there. And so I was like, okay, let me get something to eat. So I was like, okay. So when I went to get the chicken, they were like, we ain't got nothing but thighs. And I was like, dang, thighs? Y'all ain't got no breasts? Y'all ain't got no wings? All y'all got some thighs? Yeah. When I look and people cook on TV and they choose to cook with thighs over breasts, they can't cook. They cannot cook. That's my opinion. When I look and I see a recipe and you chose to use some thighs over some breasts, you cannot cook. Yeah, I said. And guess what? My kids agree with me. I was like, look, y'all, when y'all look at people cook recipes, and when they got a preference of food, a preference of meat, and they pick some thighs over some breasts to cook and prepare a meal, they can't cook. I don't even want to see recipe. Throw it out the window. So I'm like, okay, they ain't got no thighs. So then I go down the line, because it seems like, you know how you try to feel like a servant, like you go like behind the cat. You know how they have a little glass and you tell them what you want to eat, and you got to look at the food. So I look, and then I see it's spaghetti. So I'm like, okay, spaghetti. But then I was like, dang, it got ground beef in it. So then I look again. I was like, okay, the veggies. You can't go wrong with veggies, right? The veggies was the worst thing to eat. It was the worst. So I'm like, dang, they didn't mess the veggies up because they didn't put pork in it. They didn't cook the veggies in the pork. And so they didn't cook these veggies. They didn't just contaminate and messed up the vegetables. Because they didn't cook in all this pork. And in my vision, the pork was like over highlighted. Like it was over emphasized. Like the bacon that was cooking in this veggies that I had seen, the veggies was overemphasized in my vision. So even though they, like, I was looking at the veggies, the bacon just stood out in a bad way. And then I woke up from that vision. So I'm like, okay, God, what this mean? I couldn't eat, like, everything that was on it. Only thing I could eat that was in this place was bread. And the bread was baked like homemade bread. I don't know if you're dealing with unleavened bread, because, you know, in the Bible, it talk about bread. This bread got many meanings, y'all. Yes, it's deep. I do a recap on this. I'm just speaking this now. But this bread is deep. And what I see and what bread really mean. And I can break it down. I do that another time. But that was the only thing I could eat. And this bread was like homemade bread. It wasn't nothing that you buy pre-wrapped, already cut it. Like, if this was bread, you had to bake yourself. So I would tell my kids, I'm like, y'all might well go and learn how to make bread from scratch. Because that probably all what we gonna be eating, some bread from scratch. Which before this dream, they been saying it. Like, oh, we want to make bread. And my daddy, he always made bread from scratch. Like, he always would have his bread maker, and he would make his bread from scratch. Like, he didn't buy his bread. Well, he'll eat bread in the store, but he always made homemade bread, y'all. So I'll tell my kids, like, y'all gonna probably do the same thing. So that was the dream right there, y'all. And it seemed like for me to eat any of that, I would have to compromise, and I would have to settle to alter my diet to even eat it. But in the dream, I didn't even desire to eat it. Like, I'm looking, I'm like, I don't even want this. Like, everything was disgusting. Only thing looked good was the bread. So I wasn't even tempted to even want to even try to eat it. In the dream, I was kind of like, I can't eat this, I can't eat this, I can't eat that. You know, that's how I was in the dream. But it was like, I don't even want to eat it. I didn't even have a taste to even want to eat it at that point. But the bread looked good, y'all. The bread was like, it caught my eye. The way the bread was showing in the vision, it caught my eye. The bread looked like it just had this certain lighting around it. And it just seemed like it was just glistening. It was just glistening in the glass. Okay. So I had that dream, y'all. So then later on during the week, I had a dream. My dad was in this dream. In the dream with my daddy. It was like, you know how you had like an old video, like a VHS, like an old video. It was like that was playing in my dream. So this VHS was playing, and it was this memory of me and my daddy. And I don't know if I was going up the steps or if I was like on the stage or what I was doing, but my dad was giving me a hug in the vision through the video. So I'm looking at the video, I'm looking at myself go up. I might have been on stage, could have been somewhere, and I saw my dad just kind of giving me a hug, and I was just like, And then in the dream, one of my sisters, she had like some kind of video too, and she was excited. So she was like, "Ooh, I found the old video with my daddy on it." You know, one of my sisters. And so she was just like, announcing this video that she had. I didn't announce it. I seen my daddy first, but I never said nothing. But when she seen it, she kind of went public. Like, she went in the group chat letting everybody know, oh, I found this video of me and my daddy. That's how she was. Like, she was just super excited. So, but the thing about this dream, when I woke up, you know, I realized that even though the way the dream was set up, it made it look like a memory of something that had happened. This ain't never even happened. So I'm like, okay, you got this memory in a dream. I'm gravitating to it like it's a real memory. Like, ooh, I sure remember my daddy gave me a hug on this day. Like, it was like a videotape showing me this is what happened. But in the real world, this never even happened. I don't want to confuse y'all. I be in different dimensions. I might confuse y'all. You be like, what you mean? Huh? I'm in different dimensions, y'all. Okay. So, that happened with that. I seen my dad there with the same week of this food. And then later on, they was talking about these pigs. These wild pigs, when they come open, they pure blue. Like a blue. They ain't never seen nothing like it. They don't really know what's going on. Right now, they do a lot with technology, a lot with radiation, a lot poison is getting into the water, which the animals is getting into. You know, we don't really know. So, but I just felt that I'm like, woo, that pork in them vegetables. Woo, the pork in them vegetables. That's all I was thinking. And then they start talking about these blue pigs. Cause I think you can season your vegetables to the point. I think you can season your vegetables where it tastes good. Like, you don't have to have a slab of fat or pork in it for it to have flavor. Like, I really feel like you don't have to do that. Sometimes you use turkey meat as an alternative. Like, you really just want that, like, smoke taste or whatever taste you want. Me, I would just put turkey pieces in there. Like, I just use turkey as an alternative instead of the pork in my veggies. But shoot, you really, yeah. I feel like you really could cook veggies where it really don't have to have all that in it. But if you want meat in it, you could put like turkey and it'll do the same effect of that slab of bacon you did threw in there. Okay, y'all. It's a healthy way to do it, I think. Yeah. Okay, y'all. So that's what I seen so far. Today I had a dream. It's just trying times ahead, y'all. It's just this dream was just filled with like sadness. The emotional test of this dream, I can't really get into too much detail. I'm not gonna speak on too much, but the emotional attached to it was a lot of sadness, trying times ahead. I just saw people sad, like not too happy, like not smiling. Like, it just seemed like this gloomy sadness in the air type of energy. That's what I seen today. Okay, y'all. So, I'm going to let y'all go. I think I spoke on everything. It just take me back to these women. And these men, they out here, the Lulu. Satan got these men, the Lulu. Like, they out here, like, they really out here, like, on top of the world. Chasing out the other men out here like the Lulu. Your whole woman who God said to help you, you got everything. While you the Lulu out of town, kicking it with the men, doing whatever it is y'all do. Got your women all out exposed. Everybody see the value, but you, Satan, got you, the Lulu, up here. You don't even see the value of a woman at this point. Everybody know the value of a woman. Everything God created, understand the value of a woman. They understand the value, not even just bringing life and birthing life into the world. Like, they understand the whole genetic makeup. Like, they understand the value of a woman. Everybody but the man. Because Satan didn't. When I think about it, I be tickled. I'm like, darn, how can you be that delusional? So you out here Because I'm just talking about like the New Orleans thing that I had seen. You out here, all y'all meet up in New Orleans. All these men meet up in New Orleans, and you think you just doing it big. And your preference being a man over a woman. You think you just doing it big. But little do you know. Like, little do you know. And no matter how much you try to devalue a woman and talk about what you bring to the table, you still can't take the value of a woman from a woman. God instilled the value of a woman in a woman since the beginning of time. It's nothing you can do to make a woman not be as valuable as God says she is and was and will be. It's nothing you can do. You can try to compare yourself and talk about what you do and what you bring, which you supposed to provide and protect. Like the Bible say that. You supposed to provide and protect. So, when you try to compare yourself to a woman and make yourself seem like you the top notch, like you just the catch of the day. We the value. We the value. Everybody know this. But if women want to be tricked and deceived to not even know their value, then okay, cool. And if you men think y'all gonna play the mental games, the narc, Jezebel games with these women to make them think their value don't mean no value, but everything know the value of a woman. Every entity that exists know the value of a woman but the man. And she's constantly trying to prove herself. Y'all can do that. Do what you do out here. I know my value. And I don't care how I'm looking. I don't care what's going on. Can't nothing take what's been instilled in me. Like God himself, the creator, designed me. And you think you going to devalue me and make me less than what God told me I'm supposed to be? Because of what? Based on what criteria? Like who criteria? Based on God criteria. A good wife is a good thing. And I'm sticking to it. Okay. So y'all, I'm gonna let y'all go. Shoot, whatever. I don't care. I heard the comments through the video. And I really do not care. Like I do not care. Like it's nothing you can say. Like I'm locked in my stance on what I feel and how I feel when it comes to the value of a woman. And then I look around and then the women, they don't know their value. So they out here doing, like, if they knew their value, half of them, they would stand in it. A lot of women, they don't know their value because they've been broke down the whole time. So now they done been psychologically, Satan done got these women that broke them down. So he can use them. Because if they knew their value, Satan can't use them. So he got to break the women down so they can be used for his kingdom. So, but if you knew your true value, you would not allow Satan to use you. And you would not allow a man to make you think any less than what God told you it was. These God rules. If y'all got problems with what's going on, take it up with God. Take it up with God. That's all I got to say. I'm talking to y'all later. Y'all enjoy y'all day.